Unfortunately, some things happened, and I can't get into the details of exactly what that was, because it's already a legal issue right now.
It's really hard for y'all to discern what's real and what's true.
Yeah, well, it's hard to tell.
And I've been seeing y'all memes and stuff. You've been making memes.
That wasn't me, man.
I see the memes.
I'll put that up there, but that wasn't me.
Nobody expected 50 Cent to jump into a situation involving Will Smith, and definitely not one tied to a violinist most people never heard of. But once this lawsuit hit the internet, everything changed. A quiet tour, a hotel room claim, a sudden firing, and then 50 Cent pops up and basically says this whole thing smells funny. Some people think this is way deeper than we're being told. Others think it's getting blown out of proportion. So what actually happened behind the scenes? Why did this violinist come forward now? And why did 50 Cent feel the need to speak up at all?
I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people.
You clicked this video because you want to know what really happened between 50 Cent, Will Smith, and violinist Brian King Joseph. The stuff nobody explains clean. No fluff, no fake hype, just the real behind-the-scenes talk. That's exactly where we're headed right now. So make sure you hit subscribe and tap that bell, because when the next piece of celebrity drama pops off, you'll already be locked in.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to talk about something really important. Earlier this year, I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry. So I was excited, proud of myself for getting the opportunity. Unfortunately, some things happened, and I can't get into the details of exactly what that was, because it's already a legal issue right now.
Brian King Joseph wasn't some clout-chasing internet name or reality TV loudmouth, and that's part of why this story caught people off guard. He's a trained violinist, known in music circles for mixing classical sound with modern style, and a lot of fans first noticed him from talent competitions where he stood out without saying much at all. That low-key reputation followed him for years, so when reports said Brian King Joseph was hired to perform on Will Smith's tour, most people saw it as a major career step, not a headline waiting to happen. According to reports from outlets, he joined the tour quietly, stayed professional, and didn't bring drama with him. That's why when his name suddenly showed up in legal paperwork tied to Will Smith, fans didn't know what to think. This wasn't someone known for chasing fame or starting problems online. It was a background performer who allegedly felt something wasn't right behind the scenes. And that contrast alone made people stop scrolling and start paying attention, because when someone that low profile speaks up, it makes folks wonder what really pushed them to that point.
But the reason why I'm speaking out about this is because getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that simply for reporting misconduct or safety threats at work is not okay. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who have been afraid to speak up.
Will Smith is one of those names where even people who don't follow Hollywood know exactly who he is. For decades, he had that clean image locked in. Blockbuster movies, family vibes, positive energy. The guy everybody trusted. But over the last few years, that image hasn't been as solid as it used to be. After the Oscars situation, everything about Will started getting watched closer than ever. Every interview got clipped. Every move got debated. Fans started questioning things they never questioned before.
The thing I think that's messing everybody's head up is that all of this wild is going on right in front of their faces, and they're not understanding how they're missing it. The Willow conversation, the Smith family conversation that we had. I mean, there's multiple videos of this man forcibly trying to tongue kiss his son.
So when Will Smith announced his music comeback and live tour, people were already paying attention, wondering if this was a real reset or just damage control. That's what made this whole situation blow up the way it did. This wasn't just a random lawsuit tied to some unknown artist. This was happening while Will was trying to step back into the spotlight. And then when the name Brian King Joseph popped up, followed by legal claims and behind-the-scenes drama, the internet locked in fast. Add 50 Cent jumping into the conversation, and now it wasn't just about Will anymore. It became a full-on moment where fans, blogs, and timelines all started asking the same thing at once. What is really going on behind the scenes, and why does this keep following Will right when he's trying to move forward? Things really took a turn once details from the lawsuit started circulating, because this wasn't about a public argument or something caught on camera. According to the complaint, the situation centers around a hotel stay during the tour, specifically a stop in Las Vegas. Brian King Joseph claims that while he was staying in his room, something happened that immediately made him feel unsafe and uncomfortable. Reports claim someone entered his room without permission, personal items were disturbed, and unfamiliar objects were left behind, which raised alarms for him right away. There was no loud confrontation, no viral clip, just a moment that allegedly didn't feel right. The lawsuit suggests this wasn't brushed off internally because Brian says he reported the incident to tour staff shortly after it happened. From his side, this was him doing what he felt was the responsible thing, trying to address a situation quietly without blowing it up. But instead of things calming down, the tension reportedly grew. According to the filing, days after he spoke up, he was removed from the tour altogether. That timing is what made this situation explode online. Fans started asking whether this was just a coincidence or something more calculated behind the scenes. Sources highlighted that exact detail because the gap between the report and the firing was short, and that's what made people pause. No proof has been made public, and these remain unverified claims. But once those details hit the internet, the story shifted from strange incident to possible retaliation. And that's when everyone realized this situation was no longer quiet or contained. It was officially public and getting heavier by the hour.
People talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you. And you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay.
Once the firing entered the conversation, the lawsuit moved into much more serious territory because Brian King Joseph wasn't just saying something uncomfortable happened, he was saying there were consequences for speaking up. According to the filing, he believes his removal from the tour was retaliation, not a performance issue or scheduling problem. The complaint uses language like inappropriate behavior and grooming, words that immediately grabbed attention once blogs and news sites picked them up. Reports claim Brian felt there was a pattern of behavior that went beyond a single moment, though none of this has been proven in court. That framing is what made this story spread so fast, because once those terms hit the headlines, fans started connecting dots on their own, pulling up old clips, old interviews, and past moments from Will Smith's career. At the same time, Will Smith's team shut the claims down hard. Through his attorney, Will denied everything, calling the lawsuit false, baseless, and reckless. That response was shared by outlets like People, CNN, and BBC, making it clear that Will was not backing down or leaving room for interpretation. What stood out to a lot of people was that Will himself stayed quiet, letting his legal team speak for him. No personal statement, no emotional post, no explanation. For some fans, that silence felt strategic. For others, it raised more questions. Either way, the denial didn't slow the conversation. It poured more fuel on it, because now the public was staring at two completely different versions of the same story, with no clear answers and a legal battle that was just getting started. That's when 50 Cent stepped in and completely flipped the tone of the conversation. While most people were tiptoeing around the situation, 50 did what he always does. He went straight to social media and said exactly what was on his mind. Instead of distancing himself from Will Smith, he took his side, posting comments that made it clear he wasn't buying the lawsuit at all. He suggested the whole situation came down to Brian being upset about getting fired, and he even joked about wanting to work with Will on a movie, like none of the noise mattered. That one post traveled fast. Blogs picked it up instantly, screenshots flooded timelines, and suddenly the story wasn't just about the lawsuit anymore. It was about why 50 Cent felt comfortable speaking so boldly. Fans split almost immediately. Some people said 50 was just trolling, stirring things up like he always does for laughs and attention. Others believed he might know something the public doesn't and was subtly backing Will because of industry connections. At the same time, another group of fans felt his response was cold and dismissive, especially considering how serious the claims were. Comment sections turned into debates, not just about Will Smith or Brian King Joseph, but about power in Hollywood, who gets believed, and why certain voices get brushed off faster than others. What made it even stranger was that Brian stayed mostly quiet while all this played out, letting the lawsuit speak for him, while 50's comments kept getting louder and louder through reposts and reactions. By that point, the internet wasn't just watching the case, it was arguing about loyalty, credibility, and whether this whole thing was being treated like a joke when it shouldn't have been.